Good evening, everyone. It's Monday night. It's time for Season 5, Episode 6 of the Plastic Crack Podcast. Elephant in the room, you will see we are a man down again.
Are we just going to stop apologising now?
Speaking of apologising, if anyone was watching this on the Facebook group, I've had to delete the stream off Facebook. We've lost connection to the Facebook group.
Oh no, I reconnected it, mate.
Well, have you? I know it just came on. I got a message there and said it couldn't go live.
Oh right, interesting.
So, so apologies to anyone that was watching on the Facebook group.
That's interesting.
I have no idea one way or the other.
Oh, well.
No, it just came on then. I thought, it just said you want to delete the stream, and I was like, oh, hold on a second, what's going on here?
Oh, how bizarre.
It's Facebook only, so
we've taken control from Ken.
I am actually now in charge of the page, bizarrely, but that's weird though, because he did ask me earlier to reconnect, so I did. Yeah. Anyway,
I
never
like
mind.
the idea that Ken was like some kind of puppet figurehead that we had in charge. I don't know why I had the puppet figurehead. He does look like a bit of a punch from Punch.
Figurehead.
I love it.
Oh my
Awesome.
word. Anyway. Yeah, so big thank you to everyone that is here. Don't forget, we are sponsored by the awesome folks over at Boards and Swords Hobbies. I'm never prepared with the thing, am I? Where is it?
You haven't done the please like everything and do it.
I'm getting to that. I just don't
like the shill you are.
Has someone deleted it?
No, it's there. There you go. I've done it. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I couldn't find it. Yes. So head over to Boards and Swords and use the code PCP5 when you're checking out, and you get an additional 5% off the already very discounted stock that Ian has at Boards and Swords. So yes, have a womble over there, and you use your PCP5 discount code. Right, I've gone to all the usual. Big thank you to everyone that's watching on the catch up. We always appreciate that. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like, share, comment. So I just forget it all because I just don't do it. I don't like it. I don't know. It's just me.
It's okay.
It's just me. Okay. So tonight, as you'll see from the topic, a nice friendly topic. The big question is the perfect war game achievable? I think we all know what the answer is, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Otherwise, it'd be a really bloody short episode. So we'll get to that. First of all, what we're going to do. First of all, how are you chaps? How has your week's been?
Been very good.
Good. I hit a day of just absolute exhaustion last week, so I don't remember a lot about Friday. But that sort of comes into our update. I'll explain.
Is that because of the party over the weekend? Is that why you?
No. The party over the weekend was awesome. It was Leanne, Miller's other half, and Miller's just popped in. So hello, Miller, and Leanne. If you're sitting next to Miller, it was an awesome party. Drive back was horrendous, but it was an awesome party. So no, we had a very, very nice time. It was fancy dress. If you do pop over to the Facebook page, you may see a picture of me dressed as it was meant to be Brian May. Matt was Freddie.
All right.
Exactly. So unless Matt was next to me, no one stood a chance. Like with what I was supposed to be. That was as far as Miller was. If you go and have a look, was meant to be Boudica, but everyone reckons he looks like the princess from that Disney film Brave. And not being funny, but he kind of did.
That sounds utterly.
It was amazing.
It really does.
It did look spectacular, has to be said. The picture, well, yeah. Wow.
Well, consider me learned that you were meant to be Brian May.
What did you think? Well, yeah.
I just thought you were like generic rock star.
No.
Or Poundland Slash.
I like to think I was Poundland Brian May.
Okay.
It would have been better if I had a badger or something with me for like the conservation side of it. I had a blow-up guitar, a waistcoat, and a big frizzy wig.
That sounds like
Blackpool. It was a good night in Essex.
Awesome.
It's not possible to have good nights in Blackpool.
Grant has just said I look like Charles the First. Right, let me just say. Right, I think I agree. We got Matt to put on the big curly wig, and because he was wearing the I don't know what you call it, the royal cape, the ermine, and he had the crown and he had the tash, and he really did look like Charles or Charles II. And his other half, Holly, took a picture. So if I ask you very nicely, maybe that picture might emerge, and he does look like Charles.
I thought he was Captain Hook with no hook.
I'll take that. I like Captain Hook. I'll take that.
I'll take that.
Aye. Brilliant.
Right, let's see who's joined us on this. I'm hoping to see if Paul's got a weather report for us from Mercia. So David Baker's here, Paul Sewell from Kent in Washington. It's President's Day. He's got a day off and he's painting his Bretonians.
Good man.
Cheers.
Lionheart, Gary Wallace, Benjamin Christensen. So Benjamin, what's Benjamin up to? From rural parts of Denmark, he'll be working on his next tournament on the Flames of War. I can feel Martin shaking his head already.
No. It keeps you happy, and then it's fine.
Graham's Wargames Vault. Hello, Graham. Oh, here we go. He's in early. It's a glorious but ever so slightly damp Mercia.
Okay.
When does it change from damp to moist or moist to damp?
Is there a breakthrough point?
Is there a ratio?
It's normally when the Perrys release some new figures. East Norfolk's Ham and Jam, friends of General Haig. Hello, Andy. Hope you're doing well, mate. Rev Reg, Bigger City. Hello, Don. Carl Burks, Lady Pirate Painting, Carazet, Andrew JF. Mark's here. Craig Canesi, the evil Jim Reap. Hey, Jim, how's it going, mate?
Hey,
Richard Hawes, Mortzerk. Rich M, Traj Anich, Red Steph, John Sowerby, History and Dice, Louis Baby, Mobile and Hostel, Martin Hoey. Hello from Jersey, Bretonians and the Pentateuch. Add somewhere else to add to the map.
Oh, yeah, we're going to update the map. Somebody was on from China. We got Jersey. Oh, my goodness, this is just extraordinary. There's someone from the Netherlands as well, I see. Brilliant.
Glendower, Andy Sykes, Sashel. We've got Ian Wright, Rogue Trooper, Dan Justin. Another rainy day in Los Angeles. My, that's
I've just seen we put the wrong overlay up. He's pointed out Dom's Ken. Sorry.
I shall fix that. I shall fix that in a minute.
I will sue.
Storm Steel Wargaming. Hello, Alex. Hope the move went well, mate. 9999 pardon. Shickens Bruce, hello James, Steve Harbour, Craig Williams, Maggie Sparky, Mark Brooks, Oz Mozzie. It's morning in Australia. There we go.
Is tomorrow better than today? Because today was a bit
rubbish today, wasn't it?
Is tomorrow better than today? Can you please let me know?
Double Dip, Blood Salt, hello from Berlin, lads.
Hey.
Ben M, Lee, John McLennan, David Benson. Old school FRP, mini agnostic, Yorkshire Dragoon. How Tim? How you doing? Well, mate. Duke Wellington, John Oldham, Rob and Rose Hobden, Craig Williams, Neil Oldham, Miller is here. Not looking like Boudica, hopefully. No fake Ken. No. No fake. Not this week. No. Watch this space moving forward, though. Reds Fence 76. We're going to get to the bottom soon. Gary Clark, Dave. Sorry, Paul. I didn't know you were born in Blackpool, mate.
Really?
Dutch Army Painter. Hello from the Netherlands. Basement 1908. Hello, Steve. Hope you're doing well. Rich John, Hogerson, and we're at the bottom. He's got his wig on. He's got to get his money's worth. That doesn't surprise me, actually.
I mean, yeah. Where's he going to go? He's just going to a Disney cosplay event, and yeah, it's going to be.
He's going to be wearing that for the next 6 months.
Can you
planning any wig related? I was going to say any kind of wig related tomfoolery. Please bring it along to CrackCon. That would be quite interesting. Oh, and it's Even lads, minutes with a chance of history. Oh, that's Andy, isn't it, from last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go, mate.
Yes.
I thought I recognised the name. Apparently in Somerset it's flooded again. Hope everything's okay there, Tim.
I was over that way at the weekend. I went to Cirencester, where it's a bit further north of that, and it was very wet over there, has to be said.
We actually had really nice weather up here. It was like 15 degrees on Saturday.
It was warm. Yeah, it was warm.
Yeah.
When you say up here, do you mean the north or just up the tower block? Like,
well, no, just really.
Right. It's all right up here because the bad weather, just the rain settles on the ground.
This place has flooded 3 times in the last 7 years, and I'm generally okay because I'm on the second floor. If it ever got up to this, I'd be quite concerned if it ever affected me. Flooding, not nice. So there we go. Right. Have we got anything more to catch up on? Anything?
Announcements. No, other than to just say thank you for the continuing emails to people who basically want to come on and see. We've renamed it rather than mystery guest. It's now the community guest.
Yes.
So it'll be the community guest, which we'll probably do every few weeks, about once a month type thing. So so we've got a nice long list. So yeah, we'll just get in touch. So please do just carry on emailing if you're interested in just hanging out for a couple of hours and chatting rubbish.
That's what we do.
Do you want a yellow card, Paul?
I think
that could be worse.
Yeah, that's actually quite good.
You're gonna start singing.
It's a bit harsh, David.
Oh, that is harsh.
What was that?
It's Andrew. So first and only mystery guest. Yes, that's what a great addition to the CV that would be.
I'd keep it quiet if I was you. I'm saying.
It was a quality episode.
It really was. I did enjoy it. In Andrew's parlance, I enjoyed the crack.
Mm-hmm. See what you did there.
That could be taken in 3 different ways, but I'm not going to go into 4 different ways, but I'm not going to go into it. Okay, so what have we all been up to?
You see, right? Sorry, it's just that's made one. Bravo.
He's like a cross. He's a cross between Lord Luke and Scarlet Pimpernel.
Sugar.
Oh, dearie me. I hope you're doing well. Good. Okay, so let's have a look. Well, Martin, you said you had an exhaustive day. But what did you do before your exhaustive day?
Right. So last week I had some grand plans, and in the best way possible, it all fell apart. Do you remember I had a really productive week a couple of weeks ago, and I was that hasn't happened. I thought I would just take a little bit of a break from the Gallic Wars stuff, and because I just seem to have got loads and loads of footage and stuff ready to edit and things. So I just thought, I'll sit here in the time I do paint, I'll edit videos, but I'll do a few things. And I remembered I've been picking up Test of Honor miniatures, it's from Boards and Swords at Warfare. And so I thought, I'll just paint those up. There'll be a nice little sort of aside. So what I have been working on is sort of the next batch of those. So I haven't got any sort of final shots, but here you can see a group of the heavy musketmen.
Oh, nice.
Who are rather brutal in the game on their little movement sabot base thingy. So yeah, they were, and I've done them in the same colours as the armor, and they were fun to do. But what happened was I basically thought I'd see if anyone was about for a battle, and Matt was available, so I thought we'd do Test of Honor. So we arranged to have the game on Thursday, so it was going to be on Thursday evening. So I got everything sorted out. I got the board all set up. We picked the scenario ahead of time, and Haley went out for a meal. I put the kid, they got showered, fed, to bed. Brilliant. Got to 7 o'clock. Matt was going to get to mine sort of between 7:30 and 8, and one of my little ones just woke up, and I put her back to bed. So I was like, okay. And I thought, well, she might come down again. So what I will do is I will sit in the living room at the bottom of the stairs and wait for her to re-emerge. The next thing I knew, it was 8:30, and Matt had been knocking on the door for half an hour outside because he knows what it's like having little ones. He didn't want to ring the bell. My phone was on silent. He'd rung me 4 times, messaged me on Facebook, messaged me on Messenger, WhatsApp, everything. He'd messaged Haley, but she was out for a meal. I think he thought I died on the toilet. But I woke up with such a start, and then realized that I must have just passed out basically, and so it took me about sort of half an hour to come round, and then we're trying to film, and after an hour of playing this scenario I had to give up, but not because I was feeling knackered, which I'll come on to what happened next after that. But basically, do you know when you haven't, basically we picked a scenario in Test of Honor called Ambush, and like you say, one player is going to be ambushing, okay? And basically the objective is to I just didn't have a hamburger. Is just to you, basically one player has got to march across to the other side of the board. You have a road in the middle of it, and he has to carry an objective to the other side of the board, and he wins. The other player has to ambush them, get the objective, and then go off the opposite side.
Yep.
Now, on the face of it, that sounds really straightforward. And it gives you the option in there to do a surprise attack. And if you do a surprise attack, or the attacking player does, the attacking player reduces their points by 25%. But you count as unaware, the defender, which means that they act a little bit like they do in 0 to 100 hours. Okay, which is that they will, apart from they have like a set path in 0 to 100 hours, and that was the issue. So he's waiting to spring a trap at the top of the board where he's deployed, and my guys, you move with a scatter dice if someone does a surprise attack. So all my guys who are meant to be marching across the board, that's it, are just wandering around in random directions. Which, for that scenario, just didn't work. And what happened in the end, and I've got a picture. So after an hour, we finally got one combat. After an hour, my leader, just for some reason, just charged 11 inches up the board. And then Masashi, Matt just jumped out. Masashi kind of stabbed himself, wounded himself, making this attack. And it was just farcical. And the joke was that obviously my guy on the horse became aware, but because my forces kept on walking back into their deployment zone, there was just nothing to do. So we basically said, right, this doesn't make any sense here. You know, I do like the rules, but this surprise attack, the option it gave you just does not work as written. The rules for unaware models don't work as written. So to us, it makes more sense that essentially they just move. Even if they move a random amount, they follow a linear-ish path. Their objective, they're marching. The whole spiel about the scenario is one unit is marching across the board. And so, yeah, fine, they stayed. But basically, my guys just never went forwards. They were just wandering. After an hour, I was like, this will be the worst game if I play. So that was kind of where it got to. And having been woken up with a start, I felt like absolute crap. Matt left. And then, of course, what happened was I couldn't get to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep till about 2:30. So I spent all of Friday at work editing a report, staring at my screen, just wanting to just die. So that was my issue with it. And so, but what we're going to do, we are going to replay it, and we're going to change that rule because all the forces have. But I will take a moment at the start to say, you know, this is why we've done it, because I do really enjoy that game, but I'm not too far above. You know, as you were saying, there is no perfect. To me, we'll talk about this later, but I'm happy to adapt that to suit the circumstances. But it took playing it and really screwing it up, because on paper it was like, oh yeah, that's fine, and oh, hang on a minute, this is all gone really wrong. And then the alternative would be that all of my men could suddenly go 12 inches across the board in one mass and just wipe them out. So it didn't quite work. Yeah, there we go. That was my week in miniatures. Basically, that was it. I spent a lot of time oohing and ahhing over that Graham Turner book. Sorry, shall I get it down again? I know Dom's got this. Hang on. I'll just oohing and I personally think this is one of the best produced history books that I've seen in a long time, because it's not there's very little opinion in it. In fact, I'd say there's hardly any. And I love it. And his artwork is great. And yeah, he's what the Wars of the Roses especially has been begging for kind of a all-encompassing volume for a long time that takes in, you know, the battles, the armor, and everything, and that goes a long way to it. So yeah, that was my week in wargaming. So not a lot, but a few videos done.
I thought you were going to say the Wars of the Roses have been crying out for a Ridley Scott film, but
no, it's never done that. No, it's never done that. No, it hasn't. It has to be. It has to be a series. The best thing they could probably do is try and adapt the Conn Eagleton books, but then leave out the last one. that would be the best thing. But yeah, there we go. Martin's week in wargaming. So basically, I painted one base of miniatures and failed to play a whole wargame. There you go. And I fell asleep on the while waiting for my opponent.
This is why I love this hobby.
Yep. There you go.
That is just awesome. Well
okay,
done.
Dom, regale us with how many times you fell asleep, or
he just had a nap now while I was telling that story.
Yeah, I did. I was just frankly bored by all that. Yeah, it just went off. Yeah. Well, I didn't do an awful lot of gaming this week, I have to say, because I actually had to do some work this week, which was a bit of a shock to the system.
Heaven forfend.
I know. My boss was over from America, so I had to spend a bit of time with her, which was a bit of a bummer. But I mean, she's very nice, but you know, and I couldn't do much gaming. Couldn't do my Friday night gaming, but I did do a bit of painting. So where are we? I've got some Epic. Another unit of Epic done. These are Dutch, or done as one of the Dutch pike and shot regiments for the Protestant forces, which was good. Finally get done. I didn't do any for a couple of weeks, so it was sort of novelty to get going again. And then when I was on a flow, I thought I'd do some Scottish Lancers. And I think they're supposed to be Montrose, that's standard. And a couple of their frame guns, so that was that. And then I did these artillery. These are 15 mil, 15 mil Battlefronts. Now, like I had the same problem with the Panzer ones last week. I was saying, you know, for once I actually found a kit from Battlefront that was really tough to put together. These little sods were right little gigs. They really were.
What are they made of?
They're metal. Well, yeah, the guns are metal, and there's not that many components to put together, but bugger in hell do they hard work to get to fit snugly and then stay together. And then when they finally did set with copious amounts of super glue and activator, I then found that one of them had slipped, so they had to rip it apart and redo it again. And of course, then it's because it's soft metal, it all bent, and it was just they nearly ended up in the bin. But so they're done, and you know, the annoying thing is because I play O group, you don't really need artillery.
No,
because it sits off the table and it's just to denote how many missions you've got.
They're just tokens at the end of the day.
So all the time I'm thinking, why am I wasting my time when I'm not even going to use the little sods? Anyway, so that was them done. I did some more Gallic Warriors. These are the armored dudes.
Nice.
So they're a mixture of Victrix and Warlord. Yeah, they're all right. They'll do. They'll either be the front rank of a larger war band, or I'll just keep them separate as a separate heavily armed group. But I know we were talking about this earlier, Martin, about the vignettes for this Napoleonic Wargaming day up in Boards and Swords in June. I did one myself. There you go. This is my sword sharpener. So the way it works, I think, for these sets, you can take along one of these dioramas to support your army, and you put it with a unit, and it basically gives you enhanced abilities. So
yeah, he wrote rules. He did a video on it ages ago, and he
did
in that pack. I mean, if this does come off that I can come, then yeah, I mean, I've got a few, but I might have to build a new one. I've got a Farrier. I've got the Perry Farrier that I've never built. I've got that down here somewhere.
Well, it's got me interested in all those sort of things. So I've actually bought a couple more of things just to play with, just because there's a caisson one which gives your artillery 2 shots once in a turn, once in the game. I think the Farrier gives you increases the cavalry move or something.
It increases the move of 1 unit by 8 inches for the first time it moves. But because I remember, because I chatted to him because we were talking about them, because I've got the ambulance. And that I can't have all, if I've used it in games, we've had it attached to a brigade, and basically it does an order, and if it basically allows you to do like a free rally order on a unit. But if you fail an order, it runs off. If you blunder, it causes a casualty on someone and leaves as well. So there's loads of just little things you can do like that to just add flavor to things. I think it's really good. I'm really, that document is brilliant that he's put together. It really is.
It is really good. So yeah, that was what I've been up to. No game this week, sadly, but next week maybe.
My week was quiet. I only painted the same things last week, but I enjoyed them immensely. Before we got into that though, I found that door to my Huey.
You did, didn't you? So did you manage to keep hold of the other model, or did you?
Yeah, it's all. I did find it all in one piece. I couldn't believe it. Having mentioned last week that I was going to mount an expedition to find that bloody door, the next day, just completely randomly bolt action related, I've got like a tray down there. I was looking through a few bits and pieces, and I looked at the bottom, towards the bottom, and it was just sat there. I thought, what the hell is this? So it
was just calling to you, obviously.
I have made a slight change to the Huey. What I've done is I'm gonna build it all like with no open doors. So I've ripped off the M60 gunner. He's off. Now I've made myself a challenge.
Okay.
I've made myself a challenge here. Okay. To get this Huey finished, and I could be setting myself up for the most horrendous evening possible. So I'm making a statement. So if that Huey is not finished by 4 weeks today,
here we go. Fury.
I will A, listen to a Smiths album, and B, watch Fury again.
While listening to the Smiths album.
While listening to the Smiths album. So that's my incentive for getting this Huey finished in the next 4 weeks.
Awesome.
Because I needed a sharp stick of incentive.
So we need the opinion of the audience here. What should Steve do? Is it Fury or is it the Smiths?
It's gonna be finished. It's gonna be finished.
I think Fury is the lesser of two evils. I really do. I know Fury's longer, but there's bits of it that I still really like. There's bits of it I still really like. I think the Smiths thing I think would end me.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. There's one for Martin. Good.
I remember a couple of years back, we'd gone away somewhere, and we took a laptop and a speaker. We just listened to some music, and to test the Bluetooth speaker, I walked in, and my girlfriend had put on This Charming Man, and I just made her turn it off because, well, you have to, don't you? It's the law. But yeah, so that'll be my penance. If that helicopter is not finished in 4 weeks, I will put myself through utter purgatory with those delightful things.
Awesome.
Right. So what have I been painting? So more Burrows and Badgers all week. So during the stream last week, I was painting this chap. He's a mouse ranger.
Lovely.
Very cool.
That was so easy to paint and just so quick and just really, really nice. Just a lovely little miniature. And to put him into comparison to scale wise, there he is next to the badger.
Yeah.
Just such a small figure, but just dead enjoyable. I actually put in another order in with Oathsworn today for 5 more.
It'll be there with you tomorrow.
Well, it's been dispatched. Their service is just
unbelievable.
Phenomenally good. Yeah. So hopefully we'll be there tomorrow or the next day. But I've ordered that bulldog, another big bulldog knight.
Oh yeah,
So I've been wanting to paint that for ages. So after the mouse ranger, I then moved on to this guy.
Oh, the hair. Oh,
yes.
He's awesome. I love him.
So that's an alternative sculpt. I think this is Garrow One Eye. and there are 2 sculpts for him. So I think this is the old set. I've got both of them, but this is the second one. But again, just an absolute joy to paint. I mean, I was saying to you guys about I despise painting faces, but when it comes to Burrows and Badgers, they're just.
But you're right. It's to see, but I think he has to work. We talked about it. I think it was Dom. You didn't say because there's extra. It has to be extra expressive with them.
Yeah,
and I think that makes it fun. Again, because they are just really, really expressive. Even the ones who aren't like yelling or doing anything.
No, they're just full of character. They look, and they're just enjoyable to paint. So by this point I had 2 left. So over Wednesday and Thursday I painted. This is one of my favorites.
Oh yes.
Hey.
Oh, I've not seen the one with the mace.
So that's a marmot's mercenary and a drunken weasel.
Oh,
but the marmot was great fun. I was saying on the Facebook group, my internet search history is quite suspicious at the moment because all it is looking up different animals' fur patterns. I can honestly say when I got into the hobby, I never thought I'd be looking up the phrase marmot face fur. It's just not something I ever thought I'd find myself doing, if I'm being completely honest. But I think when I paint it, that's half the challenge, is getting the fur patterns to look exactly how they do in real life.
That's what I find. I agree. It is. You want it to look, I mean, given the fact it's obviously not a realistic thing, but you want it to look realistic. It's very odd feeling about it. I agree.
I really enjoyed painting that badger that I did a couple of weeks back. I really enjoyed painting that. That was just getting the fur. I had so many pictures of badgers up on my screen. It was unbelievable. But let's say
Martin would like to see a Burrows. I'm sure we could do a battle report if we can get together. Yeah. Even Ken's got some Burrows and Badgers.
I keep saying to the amount of people as well on Twitter. So I've always wanted to pick some of these up. So I'd just say go for it. Yeah. Just go and buy 3 or 4 and just enjoy them, because they are some of the best miniatures currently available.
Completely agreed.
Just enjoyable to paint. I mean, it's very rare that when I paint one of those that I don't paint them in one session. I just sit down and I just paint from prime to base in a couple of hours, and they're just really, really enjoyable. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to have a bit of a collection. There's the whole gang.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So cool. Superb.
And they're just, like I say, just remarkably interesting to paint. And like I say, they're all different sizes, different scales, and there's a great variety. I almost bought the platypus today as well, just because I've never painted.
Oh, the platypus is ace. The one I keep on meaning to pick up is the tortoise, who's like a Roman, or is it armadillo? It's like the Roman soldier. I can't remember that. That's an armadillo, isn't it? And it's like a Roman soldier.
There's so many that I always limit myself to sort of 5 or 6 at a time, and that's a good number to paint over the course of a week.
Yeah.
But there's so many on there. I almost bought the Union leader pigeon. That's one that James was looking at it at York the other week. That's why I said to him, "Did you end up buying that pigeon?" Most northern.
I'm gonna say you're up north. It had to be a pigeon, didn't it?
But it's just Pigeon Union. Absolutely, it's a brilliant figure. And the hair pugilist as well. I think that was a one that I was looking at as well. But I've bought a good selection of small ones and big ones. And I say I can't wait for them to show up, because I just enjoy painting them because they're just so enjoyable. There's no sticking things together. It's just as is, sit down and paint, and it's just really nice. So
is there anything better to paint?
No, I'm convinced that I am at my most happiest painting when I'm painting Burrows and Badgers figures, because they're just I never thought I'd see myself saying that either, but no, it's true. It really is true. I just think there's something zen about painting them. There's like I said, there's no assembly, there's no nothing. It's just top man, James, top man. He's literally just ordered the pigeon.
Well done.
Next is a small step to taxidermy. Yeah, I'm gonna get myself a motel as well. So semi-productive weeks and Martin's game of random wandering around.
I saw a comment saying, "Why did it take an hour?" It's because I think it was Carl said, why did it take it? Why did you wait an hour? Because I thought it might kind of be funny, and I thought that like maybe something's going to happen and it'll be quite amusing, and then it just got to the point where it's like, this is turd. So that's why you've put up the wrong one again. Dom is Ken again.
Oh God,
Will you stop making me Ken? I do not want to be Ken.
There we go. All is well. Can you talk amongst yourself for 30 seconds? I've just realised I've forgotten to get a beer. Won't be a second.
Oh my lord!
Oh.
I'm not being Ken unless Margot's there.
All right. Well, no, you could be pardon.
Margot Robbie. Sorry.
What's that got to do? Oh, Barbie. Sorry, I had a minute.
I mean, you've got two very young daughters. You should know that.
Nah, my kids like Tessa's watching Lord of the Rings, and Robin just watches Ron's Gone Wrong on repeat on Disney. That's her. I know. I am looking forward to Shogun coming out in how many days? About a week. I am really looking forward to that. So I'm very very excited. It should be. It's been getting really really good reviews, which I know you can't always trust, but generally it looks like it's pretty good. They did it was a documentary on. They were talking about the Japanese advisors that they have on the show, trying to keep things as authentic as possible. And it looks cool. He's back. There you go.
Where is it? Is it Netflix or is it Amazon Prime?
Disney. It's a Showtime show, but it's Disney have got the license for it over here.
Oh, cool.
Do you know what I watched on Friday? I've never seen before. That was brilliant. Django.
Oh, really?
What a great film!
Never seen it. Brilliant film.
It's brilliant. Yeah, great.
Couldn't believe I hadn't seen it.
Christoph Waltz is amazing. I mean, everyone's great, but he is just fantastic in there, especially just the scene with where he comes out and they're all waiting to shoot him, and he comes out with the warrant.
It's brilliant.
Funnily enough, I was at the weekend. I watched Hateful Eight, so there we go.
I meant the original 1966 Django.
Oh, you meant that one? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, with the guy carrying the coffin. Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's good. It's really really good.
I'll have to look for that. There you go.
Thank you. And that one I sent you on Saturday about Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
No.
Listen, Stu, there's one thing I've learned over the years we've known each other, that when you send a recommendation about 10 o'clock at night and you've been showing off the sort of weird beer you've been drinking, I make sure I go nowhere near that film whatsoever. Because
it's or worse than the Scrotum.
I think I'd watch the Scarecrow film before I watch the Scrotum again. I don't know. It was just a whim. I was in the mood for sort of trash horror, and it didn't disappoint. But yeah. Anyway, I've now got some liquid fuel.
Well done.
Tonight's big question: dun, dun, dun. Is the perfect war game achievable? I think we all know what the answer is.
Yeah, it's yes. Yeah,
what?
Of course it is. Yeah,
is it?
Yeah. There you go. Perfect war game.
A horse.
I'm not sure where the horse comes in, but the rest of it's pretty good. Whiskey, fine woman there, and dressed up into the nines. Beautiful figures on the table. Bob's your auntie. Done.
Horse shit all over the floor.
Mm-hmm. Works for me.
That could be a slight distraction. Okay, I was being a bit facetious about it. I mean, I think we all know it's not really achievable. But what would the perfect war game actually entail? What if someone introduced this game X and you
can I just point of clarification before so I don't get flamed again like what happened last time. So I don't get so many emails, like I don't want to, so When you say are you specifically mean like a war game set, war game rules, or do you mean like what is the perfect war game situation? Because
no perfect war game.
I think it's perfect. I think you can have the perfect situation experience.
Oh, you can. No, that's fine. No. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is perfect rule set that if someone sat you down with game X.
Yeah, so that's right. No, I just wanted to clarify.
Here's game X, and we're going to play. And at the end of it, you go, "My God, that was a game with absolutely zero drawbacks. It was perfect."
Dom's turn, because I went first on the other one, so it's Dom's turn.
Chicken. I mean, at the end of the day, there isn't. No, there isn't, because there's a compromise in every rule system in every game you play. Can you get close to it? Yeah, I think you can. I think if you got, I mean, to me, I honestly don't think you can take away the whole sort of package that goes with gaming from just a game. I mean, to me, I don't know you'd ever find the absolute perfect rule set, because it'd be different for everybody.
Yeah.
And therefore your opponent might not feel it's the perfect rule set and the perfect period, the perfect figures, whatever. But I think if you're having a laugh with your buddies and talking trash to each other and rolling dice, and you're having fun, and you feel that it has some link to the period, genre, weird shit that you're trying to symbolize, then that's a good one for me. I'm happy.
So it's not just the rules then. So the rules could be good rules.
The rules have got to be. I think you can't be frustrated. To Martin's point about his game the other day, if the scenario or the rules don't work, that frustration overrides everything, doesn't it? I mean, last week, week before last, we had a game down the club, and it just didn't really work, and that can be quite frustrating for everybody involved. Even though we were having a laugh, and I've recorded it, so I was listening back to it today, and there was a lot of shit being thrown around, a lot of fun being had, but the game basically wasn't that great, and so there's always that little bit of not fulfilled for the evening. You spent however many hours doing it. It took us God knows how many hours to set the game up, and it was not brilliant. So I think it all goes hand in glove for me. I don't think you can ignore. Yeah, I almost wouldn't trust it if there was a perfect rule set. Actually, something's wrong.
Yeah. And if it was perfect, would you want? I know a lot of people house rules. They had house rules. Yeah. They tinker with them. They break them apart. I mean, make them work how they want to work. How they want to work.
You could argue, I guess, on a broad team that the perfect war game allows adaptability, and with ease. Because although that makes it imperfect out the gate, a good war game. I suppose a good war game you don't have to house rule, but then also a good war game, a system that's easy to house rule, because there are so many that everyone's got their own house rules for across the board for different games, haven't they? There's so I don't know. Would that be something you consider, adaptability in a game, which then suggests it's not good to start with? I don't know.
Exactly. It sounds it isn't good. I mean, that's one of the things that Black Powder always claim, isn't it? Is that the reason why they are as they are is that you can easily put your own house rules on them. But some people would say that makes them a bad set because they just it's unclear, and you've got to do the work for it. And I kind of have sympathy either way there, to be fair.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I suppose on the flip side, you could say that if it was a great system, could seamlessly take house rules. So you're not replacing something that was broken in the original sort of version. Because I say with Bolt Action 2, we don't play Tiger Fear, and we don't play Turret Jam either, because we had a couple of games where a tank was shot once and its turret was jammed straight away. I think this happened 3 times in a row, and we all ended up with like tanks with jammed turrets. So I thought, what are the chances of that happening? So we don't play Tiger Fear, and we don't play the jam turret rule. Just got rid of them completely.
Oh, I forgot all about Tiger Fear. I just stopped playing bolt action. So that was my remedy. But I think all about that.
Yeah, I mean that's a bloody stupid rule, if you ask me. It happens too. I think the problem with that rule is it happens too easily, doesn't it? I mean,
yes, I think
If it was literally like a 5% chance of it happening, you probably wouldn't mind. But I don't know what the percentage chance is, but it happens a heck of a lot. The Chariot Jam. So I don't know. I mean, in some ways I like the idea of a rule set that you don't have to house rule at all. But I just know that just doesn't. That's not the way wargamers work, is it? The brains don't work like that.
No. I like adapting things, and that's not particularly because I feel that they are imperfect or they don't represent the period. I just like being able to just change things a little bit. Yeah. I do the same in tabletop RPGs. You know, I add little things all the time, and I guess that's just to suit your method of play and the group that you're with. There are certainly people I play with who will not take any form of adaptation or house ruling in a game, and it will be to the letter. You know, so
yeah. Do you think sometimes that can detract from a game, though? If you just play it straight down the middle, no variation, no bringing your own sort of take to it.
Not necessarily. I feel like. You can play a game as written, if you like, which is essentially what we were trying to do with Test of Honor. We were trying to play it as written, and it did. Well, now we're gonna. If we could have carried on playing it, and it would have been infuriating and a terrible time, a terrible game. We would still have a laugh, but it wouldn't have really been a very satisfying game. I don't think. Now we tried it. Now we're going to make some changes, adapt it a little bit so that the scenario works a little bit better, but it's still going to be the same rule. It's still the same rule set, isn't it? It's just
yes, it is
a way to, you know. No, I think you can play things down, you know, as written, but sometimes maybe you can just tweak them a little bit to give it more flavor.
I'd just like to clarify, you can play rules as written apart from SPQR. That's all I'm saying. No, I agree. I agree to a point. I mean, I think the thing is, I was about to say one of the things I think you have to give all rule sets a decent try before you start fiddling around with them. But that said, I think we've all played rule sets where you play them once and you go, yeah, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to do something here. So I don't actually think that's true either. But the trouble is when you fiddle around with rules, you bring your own bias into it and your own feelings into it, which somebody else might not necessarily agree. And does that put other people off playing them as a result of that? I mean, not your fine adaptions, obviously, Martin. Yours are fantastic.
Well, the thing is, with those adaptions, I did just state at the start what my intention was just to add like period flavor. There's no way that I'm trying to balance anything or make anything equal. It was just to add a little bit more depth to things where people might want it. But that was it, really. But yeah, no, I think you're right, really. I mean, you should give everything a shake. Otherwise, what's the point? You might as well just write your own rule set. Go for it. Just do it.
So, imagine if you are a games designer. Then, do you think when they sit down, do they want to try and design the perfect war game, or do they have that in mind? And it's not going to appeal to everybody, or some people are going to find fault with it. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. It's probably one of those things where you're never going to. I don't think you're ever going to design the perfect war game. There's no cookie cutter approach to it. It's not going to. Nobody's going to fit into every single one.
I think we've had enough rule writers and game producers on the stream over the years that very clearly they go into their rule writing either because they want to do it for themselves, because they want a rule set that plays how they want to do it, but they've all got a very clear, or seem to have a very clear opinion about how a game, a period, what have you, should play, and that's how they build the rules. And I think the challenge is you've got to find a rule set, a game that reflects your values, if you like, in the same way, and that's. It's always been the case. It's like, some people love chain of command. Other people love bolt actions. Other people love rapid, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
There's all that flavoring and very rarely do you get people who play all of them. Because they'll love an aesthetic or an adaptation of the rules or the mechanic or whatever it is in a rule system, and they'll love that and they'll want to play it that way. And that must be the same with that reflects the look at the Lardies and how they produce their rules. It's all about playing what is the catch line? Play the
period, not the rules.
Not the rules. And there is a definite flavour to their rules, the same as there is with all the warlord stuff. There's a very definite flavour to them and the approach they play. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
No, definitely. I'd say despite never playing it, I love watching Chain of Command battle reports. I just love the mechanics of it. I think I've rarely seen a bad one. They've always been interesting, exciting games. And I know people who like Chain of Command really like Chain of Command. Yeah, they really like it. It's like sharp practice as well, though. People who like sharp practice really, really like sharp practice.
Yeah,
and like you said, I think it's because it's the flavour that the Lardies put into their rule systems that really connect with an audience. That makes any sense. But there is a certain they do like the rules when it comes to certain Lardies. They really do like them.
But it's interesting though, isn't it, that you again that's clear indication the way people have very different opinions about what they like and what they like, because one of the things the Lardies do a lot of is that variable movement. I know Alex here I know he's here in the chat. He's, always goes on about he hates, the fact that a rule system says you can move 8 inches and that's what you move. He likes the variability. Personally, I quite like the fact I know I'm going to move 8 inches. So it's whatever you like, isn't it? And
I think I would much prefer variable movement in bolt action rather than just the set movement. I don't know. I think it brings something, and there's an element of risk there that you may not get
bloody frustration at times.
You may not get to that wall and your chaps will be left out in the open. I do think it adds something. Another thing as well is in Lardy's case about weapons. Remember when Rich was on and he said he can't understand how some game sets rifle bullets stop at 24 inches and just drop out the air. That's always been a big one for me as well, because they go quite a while. So there's loads of bits from sort of Chain of Command that I'd love to sort of insert into bolt action, because bolt action is one of my favorite games. But there's certainly elements of Chain of Command that I think, so the patrol phase I think would work really well. Variable movement and weapons ranges as well. They're the three main bits I'd put into bolt action. In fact, I might just play Chain of Command.
I was going to say, so what's the difference? Why would you play bolt action? So what is it about bolt action that you really, really like?
I like the activation.
Right.
I like the activation. I like the fact that it feels comic book a bit, a bit Commando, a bit Victor.
But then the whole ethos of Chain of Command is very different, isn't it?
Yes,
it's much more simulating of a real battle.
I know I've mentioned before about when he put a Tiffin dice into bolt action, and that worked really well because you don't know.
Yeah. We did that for Conflict 47, didn't we, Dom? When we played that. We did that to just add a bit of flavor into the game, and also to the fact that we could actually maybe get it done. That was the main.
And it worked really well because, I mean, again, part of the fun of bolt action is that priority of what you decide to move first, and the order you do it in. And then if there's a fact the turn's going to finish before you've had a chance to do everything, you make damn sure you get the orders done in the right order. In similar way with sharp practice with game, I love a lot is that sheer frustration that you didn't use your flags when you should have done, which means a unit that you should have moved didn't move because the tiffin came out. Just one of those things. But yeah. But I think that sometimes those games can get really difficult to play because you end up. So again, it's that sort of game ability. So if you're I play a lot of, or have played a lot of sharp practice over the years, and every so often you will get a game where for 2 or 3 turns nothing of yours moves, and everything of your opponent's does, just because of the way the cards came out.
Yeah. What about you get a couple of bad hands in muskets and tomahawks where you've got
same sort of thing. Oh yeah. But at least in that you've got the variability of you're playing somebody else's card. You get that token which you then can use to activate your own stuff. Whereas in sharp practice, sometimes it literally comes up. You move 2 units and your opponent moves 8. And for 2 or 3 turns in a row, you just think, "Oh, geez." I think it doesn't matter how good you are.
I've had games of ball action like that, though, where your opponent draws 5 or 6 of their dice.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is. But then you know that you're going to get a lot of movement and shooting in later on. But that's why I think adding like a tiffin would be quite a cool thing to do. But again, I think it just adds. It does add to it. Those sort of, again, going back to the Lardies, the things that they introduce into their games, they certainly give that historical flavour. And it's one of those things, in Little Wars, when they do a War Games review, and one of the percentages is historical flavour. I imagine that's probably one of the most difficult things to actually get into a set of rules. Yeah. Because not everyone is going to everyone's going to agree with it. And I know that I think some of the Osprey books have been there's been some sort of people have said they're good rules, but there's not a lot of historical sort of flavour in them. I know Dom, you've said that a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, I find again it's what you want from a game, right? So if you've got a few hours in my case, a Friday night to go down the club, play a game, have a bit of a laugh, roll a few dice, and just take the shit, take the shit out of everybody else. They work reasonably well for that. Are they a compelling game where you're sort of sitting on the end of your seat, thinking, I want to be whoever it is, George Washington beating the pesky Brits up? No, it's not, because it just isn't realistic enough. But yeah, it's an interesting game, most of them. But would I, if I had all the time in the world to play a game with my mates and they had all the time to play with me, would I want to play them? No. Simply no. No. That's
interesting. I'm not going to mention Dragon Rampant or Lion Rampant, Martin, because
my experience with them is I've only played a few games. It's just that it wasn't anything to do with historical flavoring. I just didn't have fun. It's just that simple. Ultimately, again, we're still talking. We always have this chat about simulation versus game, and this is meant to be enjoyable, and I didn't enjoy it. I was infuriated by it as a game. I don't know. Like I've said, it could just be the person I was playing it was showing me just didn't do a particularly good job. I'm pretty sure we played it right. I've seen it played quite a few times. I just didn't enjoy it. It was that simple. I just found it quite, like I said to you, I would rather play noughts and crosses to resolve combat than the system in life. But I just but no, joking aside, so many things can affect it, and the perfect war game maybe should be is the perfect war game easily teachable and easily shared, and something else. There are some amazing games out there that have that have great mechanics and really good activation systems, but they can take a few turns. Muskets and Tomahawks is maybe it's just me, but I think that's a game that definitely takes a few games to get your head around, and it's certainly easier if someone knows what they're doing and can show you, especially with the spotting and the way the command points work. you know, and then there are easy games. I feel like you could show someone bolt action, and this isn't I don't mean this in a horrible way. And I think after one game, someone would pretty much get it. Someone define the special rules and weapons, maybe not, but the overall system is pretty pretty. So again, it's a perfect war game, something that is easily pick up and play. Is it accessible, or is a perfect war game something that's more crunchy and therefore more simulated? It's a good question.
I think one of the best games I've taught someone, or the easiest, was X-Wing. I took it around to my brothers one night. I said, let's play some X-Wing. Explain what it was. Spent 10 minutes explaining the rules to him, and we were about halfway through the game. He was flying, knew what to do. He went on his phone and he ordered a core set of the rules halfway during the game, because he said he's not a war gamer, but he has dabbled in the past. But he said to him, he just understood them straight away, and there was no I don't know. I mean there is a complexity to X-Wing once you get into it, but teaching someone the actual core rules. So this is your ship. This is how you do your movement. Choose your template. This is how you shoot. This is how you defend. This is how your ships blow up if you tend to be on my fleet. And yeah, really, really easy game. But again, there is a depth to it, but the actual core rules were so easy to teach someone. And again, I think that's like Martin said, that's the sign of a good war game, that you can teach someone relatively quickly and it sticks. It doesn't just go in one ear and out the other. Because I've mentioned it before, but my first historical war game that I ever played back in the early 90s, I think some people may know or recall this, Body Count, Vietnam rules. And I remember being given a copy of them, and I was like, what the bloody hell's going on here? I just could not understand it. I mean, it was good because the guy Steve that was teaching us to play, he was an expert in it, so he could just run through it. But actually trying to learn those rules for myself, I mean, they've got to be over 30 years old now. Body Count.
Oh, evening, Paul. Hello, Paul.
But yeah. So James got here. So BattleTech, 30 years and still going strong. It's like the same game. Pretty much as perfect as you get, but it's not perfect because not everyone's that. No, and again, people, I did grow up playing BattleTech in the sort of early and mid 90s, and I had some great games of it. And it's admin heavy. There's a lot of record keeping in it, but it's a good game. Actually, no, James just put it there. 40 years going strong. It was 30 years for me. That's when I first. I think I played my first game of BattleTech in about 1993. I think it would have been 93, 92, 92, 93. But yeah, I still enjoy it. I don't know whether I play it these days. I mean, I've got good memories of it, but I don't think. I mean, despite painting those mechs up last year, I've not been really. Didn't really want to get into it. Man, I couldn't find anyone to play it to start with. But, I just think it was. I don't know. I mean, I've got good memories of it.
Do you think you grow out of rules?
That's a good question, actually.
Yes, I think in a certain sense, like I really enjoyed Malifaux. Like I really enjoyed it, and I think I played so much of it that I just sort of I started playing other things, and I've just never had any interest in going back to them. I don't know. That was a phase of my life that just I can't face again with all the triggers of okay, I've drawn the heart, so that means I've done a critical hit on you, right? You've now drawn a defense card, which means you've triggered a hit back on me. But with that, you've now triggered a trigger that drags me off of a roof. So I take falling damage, but you've drawn a joker, which is now the end of your turn, and it kind of creates a stack. And that's genuinely something that happened in a game. By the end of it, like, where are we? You're like, oh, it's turn one, and that was like the first activation. So yeah, I think I've maybe just become a bit simple or a bit simpler. That's probably a better way to put it.
I don't know whether I've grown. I mean, I know I've said before, I've got a lot of nostalgia for games. So one for me is Blood Bowl. Absolutely love that game. It's in my top sort of 4 or 5 games of all time. And it's actually coming up to be It's 30 years ago. 30 years ago this summer that we had our Blood Bowl league in the summer holidays. My God, I was 16. Jeez. But again, it's just a game that can, with the version I've got these days, the rules have barely changed. And it's just, I enjoyed that game so much when I was a kid. I don't think I would ever get tired of playing Blood Bowl. I just think it's such an enjoyable, fun game. And it's one of those games where it's impossible. I've said it before. It's impossible not to enjoy yourself while playing. If you take Blood Bowl seriously, you're not enjoying it. You're not playing it to the way it should. It's meant to be an.
Why don't you play it anymore then?
Because it took me about 5 years.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I do. I mean, I solo Blood Bowl. That's why I've been painting those Blood Bowl teams up. But my mate, he's been repainting his human team for about the past Ice Age, but he hasn't managed to get it finished yet. They're called the Marienburg Porpoises. So we have said that we will play that, but I'm good to go for Blood Bowl. I'd happily play Blood Bowl. It's just it's a fun game to play. It really is.
So, I mean, over the years, I've played so many different rule sets, and some that we played to death and absolutely loved, and I've still got the rule sets, and I still look at them from time to time. And I think, I really should do, but something holds me back. I don't know what it is about having another go at it, and I don't know why. I almost kind of want to just sort of think, oh, well, that was then, and now move on. And maybe it's that sort of, I don't want to forget the fact how much fun they were by then playing them and realizing that they're shocking. Or maybe it's I've moved on in my what I want out of a game. And maybe that's changed.
I think that we call it the nightmare analogy.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I was just thinking exactly that. Some things are just best left remembered as good.
No, it is true. I think that certainly can be transposed into gaming. But it's perfect because when you look back at Nightmare now, you think, oh, it's not as great as we thought it was.
It's odd, isn't it? Because I mean, also the trends in the gaming have changed so much over the years as well. That plays into it, I think. Kind of moving from very table intensive rule sets to ones that are much more skirmish related, or what we used to describe as skirmish games. Now they seem to be everything. Pretty much runs the same kind of systems. I don't know. I don't know. I look back at some of those old rules we used to play, and we used to have some really good games, and they were probably more whatever that means, historically accurate. But I don't know. Were they any more fun? I don't know. I think it's more I want fun out of a game now, so it's probably more important to me now than a historically accurate rule set. That said, if it's a really shockingly inaccurate rule set, then I will hate it. So yeah.
I think for a lot, I think hopefully most people do play for fun, and get the enjoyment of playing, regardless of what the rules are, whether or not really bog standard simple rules or a massively complex system. I think if you're just playing to enjoy yourself. I saw a thread on Twitter last week about some guy that he walked away from an old world tournament game because of his opponent. And the way that he was behaving, complete cheesy power gamer. So I mean, I know it's a tournament, so you're going to win, but still, I think. Do you think some rule sets lend themselves to a more fun, enjoyable game?
Yes.
Or should they all be played in that manner?
Oh no, I think some rule sets are easier that are more relaxed, and I mean. The black powder, pike and shot, Hail Caesar system, they are by their nature and by their sort of the ethos that's at the very start. They are, what's the term? Beer and pretzel. That's the term, isn't it? That's it. They don't claim to be anything other than that. So other games, bolt action again. That's an arcade, as you say, an arcade game. Essentially,
it's comic book. It's Commando, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think you're right. I mean, some rules do lend themselves into to be taken more seriously than others. Some rules actually themselves take themselves more seriously than others, don't they? So in the same way the gamers do. But ultimately, if you're having a laugh, I still think whether you're, hopefully people who are, out there trying to win the tournament are also enjoying what they're doing. The building of the army, the optimizing of their lists and all that kind of malarkey, to see it do what it wants to do, because it's like a competition in terms of like a sports event or something like that. So you're perfecting your craft to do it. So hopefully it's still fun. May not be fun for some of us, but it still can be fun.
No, I understand. I mean, I know Martin and I have said before, one of the game that I used to play, don't play anymore, but I never had an unenjoyable game of was War Machine. Those rules were written for you to be completely over the top.
They're written there is no defensive army, because the whole game is about being aggressive. It's just that people had varying sort of levels of aggression. It was, do you swamp people with lots of warjacks, or do you have one stonking great one that's got cannons in its arms? And it was really good. All our games used to end up a complete slugfest in the middle of the board, with mechs punching the crap out of each other and casters doing evil spells, and it was just a good fun. There was no maneuvering. It was just run and just go and cause as much damage as you can, and enjoy it while you're doing it.
See, to me, that I wouldn't necessarily enjoy that. To me,
yeah. See, now the thought of that now repels me.
I'm pleased you said that. As I was thinking, I can see after you've had a few jars and you're sitting in the bar and you're having a right old laugh, smacking each other over the heads with it. Then that's great. But the rest of
by the time I started finishing playing War Machine, I started to want a bit more narrative. I wanted, because I had the trenches, and so I was like, I want to build some trench systems. I was like, hang on a minute, I'm not actually going to be doing any of this. We're just going to be smacking the crap out of each other in a circle in the middle, which is what it always devolves into. There's no real tactic. It is honestly just essentially an anime fight in the middle, isn't it, between robots?
Yeah.
Where I am now, there's no narrative. Like, it's not even about it being a narrative. There would be no. I might play it. Basically, I'd play a board game or something else for that. I don't know. That's where I want my war game. I mean, obviously, there's always those moments where the armies smash together in the middle. But I think, given the time that you take to set things up and get things ready, maybe it's an age thing. Maybe I'm just feeling like about my time, because time's a bit more precious now. Not because I think I'm going to drop dead, but because I've got the kids. So just need. I want to really play the games that I want to play. Rob, I don't know. You can see.
Yeah. We won't go into what we were trying to do, your tank, but yes, we involve lube.
Right, well, almost a quarter past 9. Let's have a bit of a break. I take it you guys have got news. I haven't got news.
Yeah, I've got quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, loads again.
Okay. Yeah. Right, okay. I shall put on the non-crappy pants scary video. There we go. Much more civilized.
I kind of almost reminisce of those days of when your ears were blown off by that damn thing.
I know.
I don't.
Oh, jeez. Do you want to start, Martin?
I can start if you like. You've picked up quite a few things.
A couple I was going to put in at the end, so I'll leave them to you.
Oh, I know what that is as well. Yeah. I saw it before you because you were probably eating your dinner. So, what is on the horizon? So, some people, I don't know who, but I'd like to know who. Well, Travis, for example, plays Spectre. And the new rule book is out. Robin has sent me some photos of it, but not bought the rule book round yet. Robin, but it's a game that I really want to play. I really would like to play that. So someone fancies putting it on at CrackCon, that'd be ace. But they've released a new covert operations element, which
they're nice.
I really like this. Now, I have no idea how this works in the game, but apparently you can play them as either one squad who essentially move around the board, killing everything, I think, or you can put them into 2 3-man elements. I'm just repeating the stuff that's written on the website, who are a little less good. But to go with these, they've released these hostages that. Which I was a bit. I didn't know whether to put up or not, and I was like, "Well, it's a token for the board, isn't it?" But I do.
It's a bit grim, isn't it?
Very grim.
It is grim, yeah. But I was quite kind of. I do like the look of the game. I do like the look of it. I have no idea how it's played because I've seen Travis's battle reports, but I from my understanding, the new edition is different. I think
it is.
I know it's like a momentum system in play, so something sort of worthy sort of checking out. Now, you know how we say, no, I might, maybe I'm going to be wrong here, which is very possible in my opinion. So you know how we often say, despite our opinions on them, GW make really nice models.
Yes.
Okay. And that is our general thing that I would say their batting average on models is good, right? So here's an example of some of the new Dark Angels that are coming out. So here is some Inner Circle companions. Now I think these I quite like these. I like the idea of these. I think they look cool. This is now, I know Dom knows all about the Dark Angel lore and Asmodai, the master of repentance. So you know about Steve. You'll know about the chief chaplain Asmodai. I hate this model because I think it looks like it's stuck in glue. I don't understand.
What is
I
that?
like it's smoke coming out of its back.
Has he farted? Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know, but I know you could just clip it off, and I was just kind of a bit. I was like, I mean, it's cool. I like the space. I like the thing in the space marine. It looks grim and dark angel-y, but the smoke is just too much for me personally.
That's a strange addition. That.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, on this one, they've got some smoke. So if you look, that guy at the back, look, he's got a thing on his back with a little bit of smoke coming out of it. They're into like sensors and candles and things. That. Don't get it, but I know you could just clip it off. I know that. Do
you know what? Yeah. I know it sounds petty, but I don't even like that pose. I don't know what it is. No, I think you could clip it off, but I don't know.
You clip it off, doesn't that cost you about £15?
The smoke is optional. There we go. All right then. Okay, we go. All right. Cheers, Andrew. I will move on. Let's move on to Footsore.
So we rewind all of it.
Yeah. No. I still think I would. Well, I would. The photo I wouldn't have that. Let's see. Footsore, Welsh Dark Age stuff. How's this one? I like this.
Oh, nice.
That's very, very cool. I really like that. That's very nice. Well, there's also some archers here. Look, I really like those. I like the one that's kneeling. I really know it's a really cool pose. And then there's some half guard cavalry with javelins. So that's really really nice. Very, very cool. Next up, those who are going to Salute, and both Dom and I are hoping to go to Salute, aren't we? If I've booked the time in with the wife, so I'm definitely going to be going. They've released that. That's the miniature you're getting for
yep.
Pirate. I think that's a lot of fun. I'll have to paint those. Very cool. Next up, I'm trying to tempt Steve. There's a new wave of Bushido miniatures coming. And this is the one for Steve's clan. I can't remember what she's called. I'll tell you in a minute. But she's got a lot of armor and some very large swords. But this, because your clan is the Snake clan, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, what I quite like about this is you could very easily miss out the fantastical elements if you wanted to. I know Dom made a shark crab man.
How can I leave out that? I mean,
well, it's like Steve. Steve could just have like these samurai, but Steve's got something that's half. Is it a flying snake or something? It's got a snake with wings in it.
It's this. It's half man,
hang
half
on.
snake.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. There we go.
Nice.
Oh, see, that's so Harryhausen. It's amazing.
I know, it's really cool.
So anyway, they've previewed that. So that's a cool. There you go. It is Sadako, and she looks brutal. I realise that these stats that are on the screen will probably mean nothing to most people, but Steve, she's really good and really fast.
I like that Sidewinder rule about swapping in base-to-base contact. That could be quite.
I haven't read that. Before a melee exchange, this model swaps positions with the enemy model. Both models. I don't like that. That means you can. That means you can just nip round the other side.
Yep.
But she's impatient. There you go. So nice model there. Just before we came online today, Victrix previewed their the Arab cavalry for the medievals coming out, and they are making these up. So these can be represent 12th century and 13th century Seljuks or members of I've forgotten. Why have I forgotten? Oh, okay, well, my mind's gone. Anyway, so you have ones that look like this, which are very cool, and then they've actually got ones with the Seljuks. Apparently, they are working. So you got that traditional Seljuk cap. They've even got traditional Seljuk hairstyles in there. So these are the heavy cavalry. So I will be getting some of these as
you need
well.
them, mate. I'm just saying.
I know, I do.
You damn well need them.
I know. And here's just a little preview of one of the next ones coming. I think that looks awesome. But you can get the optional bows and all of that kind of stuff.
Brilliant.
So yeah, they look very, very cool. I still can't. I can't think who is what was Saladin's lot called? My mind has gone completely. Anyway, next up, obviously Conquest. We talked about that. I've got the 2-player starter set up here. I'm going to be diving into that once I've finished the next things here. But they've just released a new army, a whole new race, which are called the Sorcerer Kings. Look at these guys.
What the?
Bennett. They got holes. They got holes through their chest. I just thought they looked really cool. I just really liked them. Just cool. I mean, I don't think they're having a very good day. So
that's a visual representation of that thing I made with hot sauce the other week. That's what I felt like. That's what I felt like afterwards.
That is like us after the curry.
Yes, curry night.
Yeah. So that was quite cool. And there was one other thing which I've talked about previously, and I've been chatting to a few people about it. Now, as you know, one of my favorite game book series is the Lone Wolf books. I love them. They're currently reprinting all of them. Joe Diva's son is gone. They did a really interesting thing where they're actually opening up for community engagement, and they're getting community people to submit articles and submit stories. And they're actually creating anthologies of stories, and they gave a chance for people to work and actually create new game books set in this world, and then to work in this world. And the first trilogy has just been published, and it's called the Huntress Trilogy. So I thought I'd put this up. So a bit different, if we talk about solo gaming, I enjoy doing game books. So these are set in the Lone Wolf universe, but they're set about 50 years before those books. I mean, like the first Lone Wolf book came out in 1980. So this is called the Huntress Trilogy, and it's a sort of an open-ended game book system where you start with Marked for Death, and then I think it's Echoes of Eternity, and then Quelling the Flame, and all those decisions take have a point to it. But it's a very nice little set, and I was just really impressed with the idea that they're getting the community involved. I think that's a really good way to keep a franchise going. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a really well-known thing. I think, but it's a lot of fun. So if anyone's looking for anything a little bit different, if you head over to magnamund.com or just type in Lone Wolf into Google, then they've just got some interesting stuff on there. So it's been quite a newsworthy week. So that's me. What have you got, Dom?
Oh, hang on. Where's my bits? So, loads. I thought last week was busy, but this week seems as busy as anything else. So, I think we showed the fact that the next Mr. Hicks is in the stream, isn't he? So,
yeah, he is. Yes, he is.
So this is
right.
the
Fatimids. It was the Fatimids. They're the other. Sorry,
that's not a Fatimid. That's a 17-pounder. Just saying that. So this is the next Arnhem Kickstarter that Empress and Paul are doing. This is the 17-pounder gun that's coming along with the sets, and we showed off loads of different versions of these. Must be coming up very, very soon, I think. I'm not entirely sure when it is, but I think, do I remember April? Can't remember. But anyway, I haven't even painted out the first lot yet, and I haven't even worked out how I'm going to use them, but I'm still going to get the second one. So that's that. I didn't pick up all of these because there were loads of them. Oh, God, is it Paint and Glue? 3D.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
He's got a whole raft of new vehicles, 3D prints available. Trucks, half tracks, there's trailers,
Jeeps.
all sorts of things. Jeeps, yeah, all sorts of things. Masses of them. Well worth checking out his store for that. All 3D prints, and I think you can get them resin and the other one, depending on how much you want to spend and how much you want the lines on them. So, yeah, that's all cool. I can't remember. Did we share all of these last week? They're so nice. I'm going to show them anyway.
Yeah, I did mean to say because he's done his fantasy miniature for the coming month. Essentially, it's not a Bretonian lord flying a hippogriff in this amazing diving attack. Well, we'll share it when he puts it up.
I think I did actually pick that up. In fact, I was going to add that to it. So if I can find it, I'll put it up. Yeah. So they do some amazing stuff. I can't find it now. Never mind. Where's my pictures gone? Bear with. There we go. Oh yeah. First Call. Keep talking about it. Every week they're doing something new. First Call. So these are Mexican Wars.
Yeah.
Figures.
Mexican-American, wasn't it?
Mexican-American Wars. Whole range. I mean, they're lovely sculpts. I love the facial hair on these fellas. Really, really good.
Well, they've already got some really nice packs on there. They've got some sharp practice starter armies on there because I was looking at picking one up to go into something there. Basically, because I watched a really good documentary on the Mexican-American War.
Dangerous.
So,
dangerous. Oh, there we go. Paul can confirm. April for the Kickstarter for the second wave of Arnhem stuff. Awesome. So, yeah, lots of good stuff from First Corps. Just loads and loads. Now, I don't know anything about these at all. Somebody hopefully can tell me what they mean. So,
it's a game from Gale Force 9 Battlefront for tank wars combat.
So, tank war combat seems to be a thing at the moment, doesn't it? There's this one. I can't work out why it's American versus Soviet, but are they?
They do Team Yankee, don't they?
Yeah.
So,
World War III.
Oh, okay, right. And then there's this one, which is German versus Brits. So you got
I like the fact they got a mouse there as well.
I know, you got a mouse there.
All right. For a minute, I sat there genuinely looking for a rodent. I was like, "What's he on about?"
You're fixated with the whole Badgers and Burrows again, aren't you? So so they're out. And I know we've talked about Acton already, but the pre-order for them are up.
Yeah, that's up. It's not really. It's Salute. It's a Salute release, basically.
It's got Salute.
There's lots of. There's a starter set up in the top left, which is 100 quid, 3 Shermans, Easy 8s, 2 Panthers, a couple of the nice ruined buildings, loads of data cards and tokens and all that. Then there's starter armies and bundles and all that. And they've now confirmed that they are going to be releasing the rule book and the tokens on their own. They just didn't maybe announce it.
I think they should have said that at the beginning because it would have saved them an awful lot of grief, frankly. But
I think so. But then the grief that I saw was highly amusing.
Oh, it was very amusing.
I did. I don't sit in this, but I was walking home from work and I just kept on refreshing it to read it. So that's coming out.
That's coming. And also notice they've got tank crews because that plays quite a large part in the game. From what I can gather, you guys can get out and repair your tank and all this kind of stuff, and they can increase experience. I like those the guy with the pistol and the guy with the SMG. That's really cool.
Just want to ask, isn't the chap with the pistol holding the other one, isn't that meant to be Brad Pitt from Fury with the chap
we'll
with
We'll ask our consultant on that, Steve.
Yeah,
I think so. There's some Soviet ones as well. There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if because obviously at release they've done the four big nations, the big four. If how quickly they go into Japanese, Italian, Finnish, all of that. I think that could be quite cool. I understand why they've done essentially a Western Front war starter. Again, it's got start says we talk about it with the Waterloo stuff and Gettysburg. It's because it's well known, and it would have been quite cool to see an Eastern Front starter. That would have been quite fun. Some even if it was just T-34s against Panthers, or even maybe an early war, but. If it's tank or a tank, or it is a tank game, a tank war game, a Tobruk,
Western
Desert Rats, that could have been quite fun. But again, there's something to stop you doing it, and the fact that you can obviously, I don't have a big bolt action collection, so the starter set for me is useful. It's good, but I understand completely. Like Steve, who has 500,000 tigers or whatever it is. I think you have one, but like just brought up.
I haven't got any. I haven't got.
If you've got that, and if they're going to release the rules and the cards separately, then you can knock yourself.
I'll be getting that. I do like the idea. We were talking before we came on. You could really have some cool narrative games with that. Because there's the campaign. There's the. I don't know. I mean. Imagine you're on your 9th game and you've kept your crew alive. I'm going to get them through to the end of this war. Yeah, of course you are, mate. And then they all get obliterated in one game. I mean, you're gonna feel bad about that unless they're at a crossroads, obviously.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting. I quite look forward to seeing what it's like. So anyway, there you go. And also, Andy might want to get his fire extinguisher handy because Empress showed off these absolutely amazing mounted cuirassiers. I mean, they're just brilliant for the 30-year war period. Well, it could be used for the English Civil War, I guess. They just look amazing models. 28 mil, obviously. I wish they were smaller, but hey.
He's happy.
Four.
Look at those. Just beautiful figures. So, I think that's everything I saw. Lots of good stuff.
Nice. There is a lot coming out. And remember, of course, you can order it from Boards and Swords at 5% off.
Ooh, I like what you done.
Did you like that? Did you like that?
Very good. Yeah, well done. Oh, even Miller's got excited. Love those. Here you go. You could take them to the next game against Martin and ride him down again. Nice.
Which you mean like he failed to do in the last?
Yeah, it's like they didn't move last time.
He bought all of Cromwell's cavalry, and all they did was they moved forward, saw off like one unit of firelocks, and then just spent the whole time trying to get over a hedge after his other division. That reminds me, actually, I do need to. We need to sort out a game, but yeah. Definitely.
Oh, James says Mantic Epic Warpath Kickstarter is now live.
Oh, yes. I did see that, but I know nothing about it, and I did mean to go and read about it and forgot.
No, nothing. It means nothing to me. There you go. Awesome.
Right. Let's have a look at some of the comments from the people in chat.
I thought you could say the people in charge. We ought to complain if they're in charge.
So John wants the Huey to be called Meat is Murder. That's not happening, John.
Oh, we did those a couple of weeks ago. The hoplites. We did those a couple of weeks ago. But it's just that now they're shipping.
Yeah. We didn't talk about them.
So people have been giving their opinions on. I've got to agree with John here, and I'm not being completely unbiased.
Sorry, Sorry, that was me. I just saw Andrew's comment about Cromwell.
Is it knocking Cromwell? I've got to see this. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree with John here. Space Weirdos, 16 pages, cheap as chips. it's a great rule set. It really is, and it's dead simple to play, but it works really well. I'm actually working on a variant of Space Weirdos at the moment, using the Space Weirdos mechanics, but turning it into a multiplayer game. So between 4 and 6 players. So yeah, it is a great game. If you've not tried it, pick it up. £5 on Wargames Vault. Brilliant game. Miniature agnostic. Yes. Tony, so Dead Man's Hand is pretty close to perfect. Cinematic, evocative, entertaining, with enough tactical nuance to make every game exciting.
Well, I suppose, yeah, it does. It never. Its stated aim is to maybe like Hollywood Western films rather than actually a realistic shootout, isn't it?
Very much so.
Lionheart, depends on what you're after. Everyone is different for me. If you play a historically fun war game and everyone has had fun, then great. At the end of the day, it's war games, not a simulation.
True.
Absolutely. Give me 2 seconds a minute. I need to go and turn my heating off. It just come on automatically.
That's what you said twice in one stream. I didn't know. Were we allowed to duck out? I didn't know that.
No, I don't think we are. I think we should have words with the management. That's all I'm saying.
Is that an option? That's
we should all turn our cameras off and leave him. I think otherwise he might just pass out there if he didn't go and do that.
It's true.
It's warm enough in here. I don't know why it's come on. It's bloody roasting in here tonight, and the bloody heating's just come on for some reason. Love
it.
So, enough, Martin. So, if a game is in the balance of the last turn, it's as good as it gets. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that.
So, here's the thing. If you play games where the rules are absolutely shite, but you've had such a good laugh doing it that you kind of almost tempted to carry on and do it again. Things like that. Where the game last turn happens and you just think, wow, that was just ridiculous but fun.
Well, I don't think I've ever come across that. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever really played a bad set of rules. I can't really remember.
Really?
I mean, I probably did when years ago when I was growing up. We used to go to the games club. But in my
my SPQR, you can try them. You'll see.
I've actually got a copy of that rule book. Cheers, Jim. So, Andy, can we say for it to be perfect, everyone needs to know and agree on the rules? That's probably key. Yes, I can definitely agree with that. Knowing the rules, very, very important. Joseph, house rules make the game better to make sense of it. Everyone agrees. Yes. I mean, no use house ruling someone and not telling the other person about your house rule.
That's the old thing, isn't it? House rules that you play, and then somebody else plays them a completely different way, and you turn up and you haven't agreed in advance which ones you're going to play. That can be quite awkward.
Don said you should try a game called Empire. You will know rage.
Johnson, the fact that rules are released by companies that sell the figures are usually pretty poor. They are vehicles for selling figures, not well-considered games.
I don't know.
I don't think I agree and disagree with that. I can certainly see that obviously, companies are going to want to sell it. If they can create a figure or a special character or something, then if they're going to want to get people to buy it, they're going to make it good in the game. But I wouldn't say that's the case for all of them. I definitely think that there's, some people have got just a nice range of figures that go with them. 0-200 hours, for example, they've got a really nice set of figures that go with the game, but there's nothing that says, you have to use those. No. They just make them to make sentries. Unless you, again, when this is getting into the territory of do you have to use, unless you're going to like GW, you can use any models you like, unless you want to go to GW or play in a tournament. So I agree and disagree on that one.
Yeah, okay. I don't agree, I have to say. But there you go. There's some really good rules out there that produced by companies have their own rule system, their own figures. Now, you look at the bolt action factor of here. If warlords suddenly their trucks are really important, they put machine guns on them and things like that because they probably want to sell trucks. That's probably a fair comment, but. Yeah.
No. Okay. I remember us all having the same conversation recently on the stream about rules versus simulations out abstraction. How likely is it for two players to agree completely on the perfect balance of the two? again, I mean, I think just going back to me and Martin talking about War Machine before. Some people would enjoy that type of wargaming, sort of sledgehammer in the face type thing. Whereas I can imagine just for someone who's used to maneuvering, brigades of Napoleonic troops around the battlefield, and I don't, it may not be for them.
I can imagine, because I had a Warjack. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called. I had a Signar Warjack that, what's it called? The Minuteman, I think. But basically, he could run, do a charge, but he could then at the end of the charge jump over whatever he was charging and then hit the model behind it. So if you were one of those sneaky players that stuck your general behind the biggest Warjack, he'd just jump over the Warjack and then punch them in the face. Which I thought was very flavorful, but made my opponent very, very angry. But the thing was that only ever happened once. The next game, he jumped over something and just got smacked in the face by a giant polar bear, basically.
Was it Kador by any chance?
Yes.
I think when I used to play Cricks, one of my favorite, I think was the Reaper with the used to be fire a chain and drag you towards it and then smack.
Did you ever play Hordes as well? Because I had a Hordes army and I had so Hordes, and because the two systems you could mix because it's the same world. And my mate Kev, he had the Troll kit and he painted them up lovely, but he had this bloody unit called the Bushwhackers, and they dug tunnels, right? And basically all you put on the board is a little marker with a little telescope coming out a hole in the ground, just looking like a periscope looking around, and he would move that, and they couldn't move through solid terrain or anything like that. And they would move around, and then in one turn he would just go, right, they're coming out, and like some kind of like cartoon, 10 of these things jump out with their little 4-inch range shotguns and just annihilate you, and there's nothing you can do about it. or you just look at this little bloody marker making its way towards you, 4 inches, 8 inches of turn going, and you're just like, what am I going to put there to take it? And I tried everything. I put like the biggest Warjack I tried ignoring it. That doesn't work either. I mean, that could just be me. But again, it was fun. Would I want that now? Probably not. I think I'd flip the table now. But
here's one for Paul. You give a perfect set for your group by writing your own to suit the period you want to play. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Here's one for you, Dom. Dom, you play lots of rule sets. What governs you using a certain rule set on a games night? Time is the biggest thing for a games night because we have to be out by 10 and pack everything away. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it always comes down to what are we going to, the people you are playing with, are they going to enjoy the same thing? We all agree what we're going to play. Can we play a realistic game? I mean, I don't know who I'm kidding because we never ever finish a game on the club night, but at least we get well progressed with one. So that's an important consideration. But yeah, I mean, I'm lucky on the club. We have, there's various people I play with, some more than others, but we'll play different rule sets depending on who you're playing with because, Alec and Graham and those guys love Line Rampant and that sort of thing. So not my favorite rule system, but we'll play it. Whereas other people will play something completely different. So that's fun. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it always comes down to club night comes down to having a laugh with your mates. So almost the game doesn't matter, almost. But that said, we'll play something we all want to play. And Don, do you ever play games with like a set number of turns? Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, in theory, most of the games are like that. But again, we don't always get to that period in time. So, sometimes Black Powder is generally sort of they suggest you play a fixed number of turns, don't they, for that? But, one of us has usually been crushed by that point, or we've run out of time, and then we just work out what would have been the outcome. And that's fine. I don't mind that. It's all good. I don't know. Yeah. Here's one from Mark. Obviously, take your word for this one, Mark. The hardest set of rules to get perfect at anything Napoleonic. So Greek to me. So
I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, I think actually I would say something more like modern or a Second World War. Surely it's harder because you think you've got to make it enjoyable but also realistic. You don't want your guy with the anti-tank rifle popping up and knocking off your King Tiger in the first from across the table, do you? You've got to have it right, but then again you've got to have your guy with a anti-tank rifle who's got some chance against the so it's putting that balance, isn't it?
Well, again, but I'll throw medievals at you. We as wargamers, we have a need to put things into units, and that just is not how a medieval battle was fought.
No, true.
Battle, you could have companies, but companies were drilled into battles, and you'd have 3 battles, and that would form one big clump, and they just go like that into the enemy. There isn't, you have one long battle line. You don't really have these little like groups like veering off. I mean, you get flank attacks occasionally. But generally, if you look at most medieval battles, it comes down to a big clash and one side will push the other back. It breaks. And then we talked about Hastings last week, actually getting proper shield wall warfare. And that's because I think if you actually do it, it'd probably be quite dull.
It would be very boring.
Yeah.
I remember there was a rule system some time ago which did actually claim, I can't even remember what it's called now because it's so crap and nobody played it. Well, it wasn't crap. It was a historical simulation of a shield wall. And literally, it was just about pushing between the two sides. And eventually one side would crumble. It was like, okay, it's accurate, but boy, is it boring.
It's easier in a game where you have more of an abstract sense of models like Hail Caesar for the wars, right? Where, one unit represents obviously hundreds and hundreds of men. But you imagine that those are actually taking up a much larger area on the battlefield than they are. And you can keep those sort of battle lines moving, but yeah, it's really hard to get medieval battles right. I had a comment today on one of my Saga games, and someone just wrote, I can't tell if he was being facetious or not. He just wrote, "So you just run at each other and roll dice." Yeah, I was like, so is this a comment from someone who doesn't wargame, or is this a comment, or is this a comment on Dark Age Warfare again? Because Saga is in no way trying to be historically accurate in any way, or what is it? I didn't quite get that. So I again, but then also, what about I think the thing is everyone is going to say whatever their period of choice is hard to represent. I mean, don't even get started on the maniple system for the for the Romans, or even just phalanxes.
It's all a bit of a it's trying to simulate something that in some cases we have absolutely no idea really what happened, or if we do, we don't quite know how it all resulted in the battles that we read about, but it's about making it playable on tabletop, isn't it?
Yeah,
so there's always a compromise.
Yeah. A couple more to go through. Traj, Space Hawk bought in 1989, still play it today. Rules are simple. Absolutely. Space Hawk, especially when you play with a timer and if you're playing as the Terminators, when you can see the sand dripping down the egg timer, and you're close to having some kind of breakdown towards the end of it because you haven't moved all your figures. So yeah, it is, and it captures that kind of confined Space Hulk way of playing. So yeah, definitely agree with that. Still a great game. One from John. Nostalgia can be good and bad. He tried Laser Burn again a couple of years ago. A game I played nigh on 36 years ago, and it was meh. They were in with Brian Ansell, weren't they? Laser Burn. I know that the Joy of Wargaming, he's been playing Laser Burn recently. It's weird. A couple of people mentioned the same game in the past couple of weeks. And we're going to end with a great comment from Steve here. Maybe because I'm still new to the hobby, but any wargaming is perfect wargaming.
Good man.
Good man. I like that, Steve. That was really good.
It's a very wholesome comment.
Yeah. It is very.
Apart from you are.
Here we go. And Space Hulk, always a pretty near perfect asymmetrical game. Absolutely. Always enjoy playing Space Hulk. Really good. Right, let's have a look at some of the painted goodness.
Oh, yes, please.
People have been posting up in the group recently. So, as always, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, womble along to the Plastic Crap Podcast, answer Dom's questions 3, and ye be admitted. I say answer the questions 3. If
I did discover there's a place on there that you can see who's let in how many people in the last 28 days or something.
Yeah.
Martin, I need a word with you, mate.
I only let people in who have done the questions. If they don't, I just leave it for you to say no. I don't want the responsibility. So, I haven't done anything wrong. I deny everything.
Yeah, don't deny everything. So let's start off with Andrew, who was on our community guest last week, and he posted up some of his wood elves. Look at those.
Ooh.
They're lovely.
I don't know what they are, but wow.
There's just something dark about them. They're very evil. But yeah, cracking work on those. So Dom, weren't you painting wood elves at one point?
Oh, elves. I never actually got around to painting them. Are they wood elves? I don't know what. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Move on. Move on before Graham starts talking about that, please.
Up next is Andy with some of his, I hope I'm not butchering this, but Rajtar from his Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth Army.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. These are like a mix of bloody miniatures, aren't they?
Good grief, Andy. Holy.
They're lovely.
I love the Crassier with the standard. That is awesome.
I love that base. It's really, really nice. Lovely work, Andy. Keep them coming. Brilliant. I'll be honest, I don't know what this is, but I thought it was brilliant. Apparently it's a Knocker from Oathmark. Again, this is by Andrew. It's a
bloody hell!
Wow,
it's a big dragon.
Awesome. It's a big
bloody dragon. That is very, very cool.
You've seen the pattern on the scales.
Yeah, I like the ones on the front, the bone coloured.
It almost looks wood.
Yes.
Almost looks wood. It's amazing.
Lovely cracking stuff. Up next is Aaron with some Napoleon.
Good man.
What are they?
They're one of the Confederation of the Rhine states.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think. I just like to say I like that the supporting unit is some dwarves. Are they lovely?
No, yeah. Has Ridley Scott released a war game then?
Don't start. Nobody's mentioned that for at least a couple of weeks. Stop it.
Yeah, they're good. So Andy's up next with some ratties. I think these are these. I don't know what these are. Are they?
Those are. I think they're for Warcry or for Underworlds. They're
right.
the warband for that game. Yeah,
they're lovely. I love the shade is used on their cowls. They look really good. You can't go wrong with rat men either. They're just good. Top
they
stuff.
Look something like it would have been in Labyrinth or something, don't they?
Yeah. Okay, so Craig's up next with some French mercenary crossbowmen.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, they're very nice. Very, very
I like
cool.
them a lot. That's very good.
They are really rather
I like
nice.
The shield transfers on it. The bulls. Very nice.
Yeah. Very nice. Up next is Ed. He's been painting Grey Knight.
Oh, awesome.
Do you know what a Grey Knight is, Dom?
Not in that sense, no. I know what a Grey Knight is, but not that one.
All right.
No idea, mate.
Okay. But they're nice. I've got loads of Grey Knights bits all over the place. I used to do loads of Grim Dark kit bashing years ago, and they work really quite well. I've got bits of it.
It's lovely. That's very cool.
Very nice. Carl has been working on his Space Marines for Xenos Rampant. Some Dark Angels.
Hey.
Classic Marines there.
Yeah, no silly smoke.
Green ones,
yes, Dom. Green ones, and zero signs of smoke. Back to the English Civil War. So Ken, the eccentric man, has painted Sir William Waller
Ooh.
Hey.
That's lovely. I've really enjoyed seeing Ken's progress on his English Civil War. He's really put a lot of effort into it, and it looks fantastic. But that's a lovely command.
That's very nice.
Very nice. These gave me chest pains, and there's not a French drummer in sight, but it still gave me chest pains. It's from Krista. He's been painting Highlanders.
Oh, you got to admire anybody who does some Highlanders. That's all I'm saying. Just wow.
They are stunning.
Beautiful.
Not something I could ever do. I don't think I'll be putting myself through the pain.
Can you not add that to your list instead of it being Fury or the Smiths? Can you add a Highlander into there?
Oh, God.
Highland drummer. How about that?
Oh, behave, Dom.
We'd finish him off entirely. There,
that would be the complete end of me. Here's one from Martin. Look at that.
Oh, that is awesome. That is so cool.
That's really nice.
Oh, really so nice. I know he posted a French drummer as well, just to give me chest pains. But I thought this was fantastic. Really
beautiful.
Nice.
Really nice.
Lynn's been painting some Barons War figures.
Nice.
I like that big.
Who's that big dude in the middle?
I was going to say he's got turnip written all over him. But yeah, they're really nice. I love the yellows. They're really well done. I
like that freehand fleur de lis. It's awesome.
Yeah, lovely stuff. I think recently there's been a definite Gaulish theme going on. These are from Matthew.
Hashtag we blame Martin.
Get your Gauls out.
Look at those. Get your Gaul out. Yeah. Lovely.
Get your Galax out for the boys.
But they again, lovely base. Have you seen what his bases are?
Yeah. Good.
Wigglies.
Wiggly we
ones.
Want wibble. We want a wibble.
Calm
so
down.
Paul from Mercia
has
been painting some Prussian Jaegers for his 7 Years' War.
I like those. They're really
they are
nice.
Lovely.
Oh, God damn it.
They are very colourful as well. I like them. They're really nice. Top work. Phil with some ACW Confederates.
Nice.
That's a lot of figures.
That's a big old brigade there. I love it.
That's That's why I stick to epic scale, because there's no way I'd be able to paint anywhere near that amount.
I love it.
So Phil's been back on a 20mm, so he's been painting this Firefly. That looks really nice.
Oh yeah,
I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the mud.
Cool.
Yeah,
very nice on that, hasn't he? Really
cracking work for. He's been posting a lot of his. I was either this or his German. I know he's painted a few tigers as well recently. I just love this Firefly. It's really well painted. Again, more Gauls. I saw this earlier in the Facebook group, and it's quite clearly insane. That's what. That's what 96 Gauls look like.
That is beautiful. That is awesome.
Just look at that.
If all these Gauls come along to CrackCon, Martin, we got plenty to do a Gallic against Roman.
Yeah, I know. Everyone, absolutely. Come to CrackCon. Bring your Gauls. Or just send your Gauls. Send Gaul.
Send Gauls.
Send Gaul.
That is something else. Absolutely something else.
Love that.
Steve's been painting He-Man.
He can lead them.
Yeah, there you go. Leader of the Gauls, He-Man.
So this will be the leading character in Ridley Scott's next film about Gauls. Stephen has been painting Khan the Betrayer.
Hey, I like Khan.
I like Khan. Do you like Khan, Dom? I don't mean the guy from Star Trek.
Oh yeah. I wish he had a bit of fart coming out the back. That's all I'm saying.
I see that. He's very cool. I do like it. That's awesome. Very, very nice.
And he's perpetually angry. A very angry man. Oh yeah.
Is he like?
Can you tell?
Oh yeah.
No, because this guy's useful.
I think the skull hanging off his armor is a bit of a giveaway. And last but not least, VK with some Italian gendarmes. Look at them.
Oh yeah, and they're like 40 years old. Those figures. They're well, the molds are anyway. They're Hinchcliffe figures.
Yeah,
they are wonderful.
Beautiful stuff.
Absolutely
really
wonderful.
nice.
Really
And what I do like
cool.
the fact that what VK's been doing is doing them old school painting jobs. So he's done them with gloss varnish as well.
Oh God,
just love it.
So as always, big thank you to everybody that has sent in their pictures. Again, we love to see anything in the Facebook group. Projects, work in progress, games, anything. I almost put Dom as
I saw you.
Martin saved me at the last minute. So there we are. We are now at 10 o'clock. Big thank you to everyone for attending tonight, just commenting. It was I think there was never going to be a definitive answer tonight at all.
I was going to say, what was the decision?
Play Space Weirdos.
Okay.
There we go.
That was it. 2 hours of decision.
Just play Space. Just play Space Weirdos.
Fair enough.
Bloody brilliant. So next week we are on. Well, Martin,
we're back on. Yes, we're back on my channel next week, and we have a guest. Now, this is not a community guest, although he's part of the community. Next week we've got Mike Peters coming on, who is the brains behind the author of Never Mind the Ruckus, although I think it's now maybe just called Ruckus, which is the new game, skirmish game set in the Wars of the Roses, inspired by Nevermind the Billhooks, but is now kind of taken on a bit of a life of its own. And Wargames Illustrated are going to be publishing. So we're going to be chatting to Mike, kind of, I guess, I'll be off the back of this as well, because he's gone from being a player who loved the rule system to adapting that rule system to then creating a add-on for that rule system that's now become sort of taken on a life of its own. And he's going to chat to us about it, so we can ask him what makes the perfect war game. How has that affected him being just a sort of a couple of years ago he's just a community player, and now he's just gone with it, and he's going to getting some rules published in Wargames Illustrated, and he's going to tell us all about it. So it's going to be really cool. So that'll be over on my channel.
It's almost like we planned it, isn't it? We don't throw this rubbish together, do we?
No,
we do actually.
We have a plan of sorts sometimes.
Yeah,
not all the time.
It's going to be good. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Again, big thank you to everyone that's watched on the catch up. We always appreciate that. Again, we are sponsored by the chaps over at Boards and Swords Hobbies. Womble across over there. Use the code PCP5 on your checkout for an extra 5% off your purchase. So there we go. Big thank you to everybody, and we'll see you next week on Martin's channel. So have a good week, everyone. See you soon.
Bye bye.